Good morning, everybody, and good morning here at the Liana's webinar studio. First of all, before we go any forward, I would like to see there's a questions section in GoToWebinar where you can ask questions all the time during the webinar. And please let us know that as we know, everything should work fine, but just to make sure that that you hear us. So if someone could just write in the question section, then can you hear us here at the webinar studio? We hear you loud and clear. Thank you very much. So welcome to Liana's webinar, and today's topic is, as you can see on the screen, is how to get started with marketing automation. My name is Harri Niskala. I'm working here at Liana with the webinars, both international like this one and then also the Finnish ones. And I'm not here alone, not today, but because I have Mika Tiainen joining me today. Good morning, Mika, and welcome.
Good morning, Harri. It's very nice to be here. And as said so, and it says in the title, so my title is Growth and Marketing Director at Liana, and basically we have this growth and marketing functions, that how we are marketing and doing PR communications to our clients. So basically we have 10 people around here, and marketing automations is the core of what we are doing. So it's nice to be talking about the subject today, that how you could there start the automation, for example, for tomorrow or for the next month.
And before we go further, I would like to remind you that all of registrants will get a recording later on tomorrow. So anytime you can go back to see this webinar and maybe get back to the subjects if you want to. And also after when this webinar ends, you get immediately on your screens the survey. So it takes only 1 minute. So please, if you have time, we would be very pleased if you have time to fill it, so we can offer even more subjects and themes in our webinars that are interested by you. And good to see so many people online. There's a huge amount of people online, so welcome all. And I think it's Mika time to take a deep dive into today's subject.
Yeah.
But first of all, tell us a little bit about Liana Technologies. I'm sure there are new and old friends of us customers, but those who are not so familiar with Liana Technologies, Mika, please tell us what is about.
So Liana is about helping marketer and PR communication specialists in their work. So basically we offer both of these solutions from one house and from one technology stack. So I would say we are quite unique player actually on the market on this front. And we have been established in 2005, so we have a quite wide range of background already behind us. And it's not me and Harri just who are at Liana, but there's actually 200 colleagues that we have. And even that we are already in 6 different countries operating and having offices, but we have actually already 30 countries or customers coming around the world, so from 30 countries. And we are pleased to say that we have actually 3,500 customers worldwide. So that's something about us. But basically, we help marketers and PR specialists in their work from one technology stack.
Yeah, Liana crew as we speak here in Liana about our team worldwide. We would like to hear if someone is at the first time in our webinar. So I will launch the poll and you can answer there. That is this your first time or have you been here before? Me and Mika are certainly not the first time here. Mika, you've been joining with me before.
Already one time.
Yeah, so it's basically a veteran. What is the word? Yeah. And for me, I lost the count long time ago. But this is super fun to do this, and especially this is the special day because we are doing this to all countries where we have customers.
Yeah, and previously we haven't done We have been doing quite many of these Finnish webinars, but now we will be doing even more these webinars approach in English. So no matter where you are joining, and if you have friends who want to join for the next webinar, so please go ahead and invite them if you enjoy for today.
69% been here before, 31 is at the first time. So once again, welcome to both type of viewers at this time. Speaking of which, where are you located? We really want to know that. What are the places you are joining in? So I'm launching a poll again, so you can pick one where are you watching today's show. So it already seems that, Mika, that we can say with pure hearts that we have a global audience today.
Yeah. It's very great to see that so many people around and already watching this first show that we are gonna do today. So it feels awesome.
And as Mika mentioned earlier, we are going to do more and more this English content with our webinars as well. So great to be here, and I think, Mika, let's check out the results for this particular poll. So Nordics, 67%, the most of people, and then Hong Kong 27%, Germany 7% here on today. So global show.
Yeah.
At this time. Let's activate you a little bit more. We are in a good mood already. So speaking of which, today's topic, are you familiar with marketing automation? 2 simple answers, yes or no. Obviously, we both are quite familiar already.
Yeah.
But let's see what is the status in the audience today. Already seems that almost 80% are familiar and approximately 20% not so familiar, but we hope that after this webinar you know a little bit more about and get an ideas maybe, even though.
Yeah, and that's the idea, to get that first enthusiasm to the marketing automation. So this is the start, that how you can start doing and implementing automation without planning for 6 months, but actually just doing them in few days. So this is about it, the single solutions.
Yeah, but Mika, tell us about a little bit what are we are going to talk about today.
Yeah, so as the topic says it itself, so we are talking about marketing automations and how we can implement them very easily. And of course, because this is a Liana webinar, so we will be promoting our own solution at this time. And then we will actually go more in depth into about these cases that you can start with it. So hopefully, at least everybody can find one new idea of automations that you could take it in your organization.
Speaking about what do you need to get started, Mika, I think it's your time to shine. Yes, it's your time to shine.
Okay, I didn't know that, but we could start with, first of all, with this kind of level of identification. It means that what we basically need in order to do the marketing automations. So this is like a little bit a path of that when it would be suitable to take these automations in use. And just to give like a bit of a background and acknowledge that what are the possibilities out there. But first of all, if we say about Google Analytics, so that tells about how much do we have website traffic coming onto our web page. And that's of course very essential information, but that doesn't give us any possibilities to do this kind of targeted marketing for these persons. So next one would be probably Hotjar, that you can actually learn that how the people are navigating and browsing on your website so that you can develop it further on. Then we have many of these kind of tools, Lead Feeder or Zoom Info, etc., that actually tells us that where did this customer come from? What domain did he come from? For example, if I visit our website, we will see that I came from lianatech.com. So we know that for somebody from the organization came, but that doesn't give us, possibilities still to do any kind of marketing for this person. Then of course we have this retargeting and remarketing, this Google Ads and the other paid media that is working through 3-party cookies, which is actually changing in the world after this year. But that's how you can actually do already marketing for this person if we know that they navigated to our web page and saw the one solution, so we can actually actively attract them to come back to see more about that product. But still we don't know that who he was, what was his name, did he has a cat or a dog. Probably we won't be asking it, but just like an idea, we don't know anything about the person. So this automation is based on that we actually want to get that information so that we can provide the essential and that kind of information that the person is looking for. So that's like the core, and that's about what we want to, how we want to help our customers with the Liana automation.
That's true. Let's moving on. We are teasing a poll that we are actually launching a little bit later, but I think it's good time to think already that particularly after this webinar, that are you planning maybe to invest marketing automation? But we have this question later coming on, so let's go for that later. But then about our solution, as Mika mentioned, we are talking about today about Liana automation because this is Liana Technologies webinar. But try and notice the efficiency. I think that's the word, sentence what we want to tell us.
Yeah, and probably it's also like the core idea of our Liana products is that they are easy to use. So actually, if you take, for example, Liana automation in use, so you could start immediately using it for your own purposes and get those results. So that's like the core of it. But what can we do with Liana marketing automation is that you can of course send those emails, you can actually send also SMS messages, you can actually do even print advertising through it, or use this Google Ads remarketing campaigns. Or then if you want to connect it to your mobile application, you can even utilize this kind of push notifications. So it's like a wide range of stack you can do with the automations once you try it. But today we won't be figuring out like all the hard things, and which probably might take at least a few weeks to be planning. But today we would be focusing more of how to get really started with the automations.
For example, like tomorrow or 2 days after.
Yeah, exactly. And if we want to raise up something from that also, so we have actually one of the leading teams about this deliverability in the Nordics, about this email marketing. So this is the core that we are always focusing, that the emails go through to these persons and receivers that are, you know, getting the marketing. So that's like the core we are focusing here at the Liana, and we are proud that we have so good team behind it. And then of course one good thing is that what everybody is already wanting and waiting for is that it's GDPR privacy regulation, that these kind of things have been thought through. So these are working in the whole Liana stack as they should be. And as we saw that we have also persons in Hong Kong, so of course this is not like the most essential thing for you, but maybe it's also the future of how to have this data in your system and how to utilize it.
That sounds great. Use cases of automation. So what are the ones that we want to tell about today?
Yeah, so basically we have listed here some of those that we will go today through, but basically the automations as a word would be that it's basically all this repetitive, you know, marketing activities that if you want to do that, you are doing manually some sendings all the time. So there might be at the time you are sending that email, for example, you are thinking that could this be automated? So that's all about, you know, marketing automations, that we can actually automate quite many of those activities that you are doing manually. But then of course what the sales guys and what the sales organization is always wanting from the automation tool is to get those leads and identify new customers. So that's of course in the core of it when we are talking about use cases of automations. And then of course this kind of life cycle, you know, thinking about the customers, and which will for example, start with the onboarding automations, that we will be there with our marketing also for the whole journey of the customer. And if it would even happen that if the customer would churn, that marketing pipeline would follow up him. And then, of course, we want to, like I said, track the behavior of the leads, how they navigate on the website. Do they go to the certain website? That might be a deal breaker inside the company that this customer might be very interested at.
Yeah, but it's always it's easier to pick up ideas if we are going to real use cases that how to actually utilize these kind of actions. So first of all, we start with get to know your subscribers.
Yeah. So this might be the first thing that could be the very most easily implemented into use. And this is actually something that the companies are not many times doing, but this is based on it that you want to know about the new newsletter subscribers that are joining in. So if you're just asking the email, so probably you cannot do that kind of much of a personalization or any kind of segmentation for this customer. But if you have solutions or products in your company that you're selling, so it would make sense to ask this kind of question from the customer, that what he or she is waiting for from the messages that she or he will receive in the future. So this is the core, that let's ask questions about it. Sometimes we might have a situation that we don't want to ask, so then we can actually check that in the next slide.
And we will do that. So welcoming the new subscriber.
Yeah. So this is the next part that where we could actually learn more about the customer. So for example, if you're selling t-shirts online and you have this, get a €5 coupon or $5 or whatever the currency is. So people want just have that. But you can also ask more questions in that, email already. You can have a poll there about a few possibilities, that are you finding for sneakers, or are you trousers or t-shirts, or what was the one that you wanted to look for. So based on this, we can do now more segmenting, that as we have in the picture, that we can automatically transfer all the ones who clicked that I would like to hear more about t-shirts. So in the future, they will be located in the segment that they are interested in the t-shirts. And these, of course, can be used when we are even sending manually newsletters. So we know that there are these people in the t-shirts, for example, segment.
Yeah. And then about when we are sending these newsletters, we can also automate content and make it take a little less time to do these newsletters.
Yeah, definitely. So for example, if we think about that, thanking for the subscriber for ordering the newsletter. So if we make that automation last year, so of course the content would be based on last year. And of course we would like, as a company, always provide the fresh and newest ideas we have and products in that newsletter. So with this kind of automation of the content, utilizing this kind of RSS element in our tool, you can actually take from the, as we can see on the left of the picture, that those are like just this kind of dummies there that you can just add the feed. And this feed can be, is it upcoming events, the recent news, or social media, or ads, or references. As you can see, that how we are using this internally, that we are always choosing the references that will be shown in the newsletter based on the content that we know from the customer. So for example, that we know that our customer or the prospects are probably seeking for solution for PR. So we are providing the blocks of the PR minded things and references, and all the content is actually adjusted and based on that. And this is not like black magic at all. So this is like the core that you should be probably starting with. So you can, from this kind of content management system, you can easily generate these RSS feeds, and there are actually multiple ways how to utilize this. But this is just maybe one idea, that you can actually do this kind of references and all that content based on the data that was from yesterday or today from your content management system?
Yeah, personally, I'm working a lot with automations and newsletters. So for me personally, it's very good thing that I get some content at least. It's always up to date and it's always ready on the template, so I don't have to build every time from the scratch the newsletter. So it's save a lot of time for me.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And maybe it can be even seen that we have these kind of pictures here, but those kind of elements can be whatever you need.
Yeah.
So it can be like pictures next to each other, etc.
Yeah. So lead magnets, guides and stuff.
Yeah, so probably we cannot just always, have that, get that €5 coupon and you will receive the newsletter when you're subscribing. So then we might need the other lead magnets. And for example, that if you are building a sandbox for your children or building a terrace at your home, so you're probably seeking information about that, or even if you're working the B2B and finding solutions, for example, for marketing automation. So you might want to read this kind of blogs and articles and this kind of guides about it, that how should I do it? For example, I'm actually building the sandbox and hopefully it's someday ready. So I actually want to know that, which kind of screws do I need and how much do I need the wood from there. So I want to get some kind of information. And because that is like important, because I'm not that kind of a good construction man, so I want to get good information to myself. So I'm willing to give my email, for example, in a return to get that guide. And this of course works in the all of the industries. Those kind of use cases are just different. But for example, for us, the marketing automation that we are showing here, so these are one of the most downloaded guides we have when people are wanting that. Now we are talking about the benefits of the automation, but in that guide we have also what kind could be the challenges in the long run. So what should be thought in the long run about that. So please go ahead and and download the content from the guide. So this is the idea. And of course, if we are doing this kind of webinars or training or any other instructions, so if you have essential information that that there's a value, so probably you could be asking the email from the customer. And even that the customers might sometimes, for example, in the B2B context, give their Gmail or some personal address. It's not the problem. It's more about doing the marketing activities based on this email in the long run, and give that knowledge for your customers.
So I must add, when you talk about you're not that good with building terraces or sandboxes, or so you're not basically, if you're not Bob the Builder, you need some guidelines and guiding.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Then one way to use automation is an onboarding, and in general, Mika tells about in general about onboarding before we go a little one smaller way to use a smaller section about onboarding.
Yeah. So for example, for onboarding, you might think that, okay, now I need to integrate it to my system. So when I have a customer, so based on that data, he will receive or she will receive some message from us. But that's not needed. So the one of the most nicest idea behind these automations is that you can have one manual step over there, so that you can utilize the automations in a long run. So for example, if you don't have any integration between your CRM and the automation tool yet, you can actually already start those automation, just basically having a Google form, for example, for the questions that would be filled always that we get a new customer. So the sales guy gets a deal. What he needs to do would be only to put the email on the Google form, and the Google form would then launch this automation. And the automation can be one message, it can be two messages, it can be 7. It depends of course the industry and the company. For example, if you are selling ships, so the projects are different all of each other. So there might be these kind of differences between it. But anyway, you can launch it just having this kind of Google form and that's like the core and starting point of the automation.
And then about, for example, onboarding and even another internal communications solutions, you can also use automation.
Yeah, and this is maybe good idea about that. We are talking about marketing, but it's not always actually marketing, even that's marketing automation tool, but it's automating content about those repetitive actions. And this is something that once we have a new employee at Liana, so we will launch this kind of automation to our customer, new personnel who are coming in. So this kind of idea could be actually doing even manually in your company, that that you are having a new person today starting, so you would like to start this kind of automation of essential information that would be sent to him within the 3 days or within 1 month, or even have this kind of thank you being for us with 1 year kind of message. So that can be already just started at one time, and it follow-ups during the year. So I think this is very good. And why we are having this also in the emails, of course, we have Slack and Intra and the other tools to give that information, and even during the corona time to have this kind of webinars with all the time instead of when somebody new comes. But we have get this kind of feedback all the time, that these kind of emails are the ones that people want to get the most essential information. So that's based on the feedback we have got in our company, but also within our customers. So this is a very good example of like single point kind of a solution for the automations.
Yeah, I think that's very good way to use automations for like onboarding a new employee. Personally, when I actually came back after 4 years being a part a year and a half ago, so for me this kind of information was very welcoming, and I get all the relevant information in the beginning. So I think it's a very good way to use automations as well.
Yeah. And now we are taking HR to it, but it can be actually related to any project or any other organization in your company.
Definitely. This next slide is telling us that we are international, because we have if you have a very clear look, you can see that the example picture is actually in our mother language and mother tongue, and then other side of the slide is in English. So this is just proving that we are international for sure.
Yeah, and Finnish too.
Yeah.
But there's actually the Finglist, the checklist is there. So
yeah.
We are talking about checklist also in Finland. But this is an example for if we have a customer, for example, for our content management systems, that they want to have a new website, and before their launch, we will send them this kind of message automatically, that what they should be checking before the website launch. So when we were selling the websites might take 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, etc. It depends of the project. So you cannot start that today I start the automation and he or she will get this message during the 3 times period. But this actually is started by the project managers, who now decide that this is completed at this part, and this is the first message that the customer will receive once it's started. So this is kind of an idea how you can do it, start this kind of automations manually.
Cross-selling is one thing that marketers talk a lot about. So we will do us as well, utilizing cross-selling campaigns, Mika.
Yeah. So probably there might be, if you're talking with your sales, that okay, that we have this, for example, if you would be selling Dyson or something. So if we would be selling those Dyson Hoovers in our company, so we know that the sales guys would come tell us, okay, this kind of accessory or add-on would make sense to be marketed for these persons during this time, and we wouldn't have any background data behind it. So we would start just today, and we could be saying actually, hey, that's a great idea. Let's do it like this, that we will send all the customers we would be downloading, all the people who have been in the e-commerce platform, so bought this product. So we would be just downloading it to the automation tool, given this chain about that we will be sending them that, are you interested in this add-on A, B, C, and based on all the clicks and what's happening in those messages, and it could be like a 3-message path. So after that, we would be alerting our sales that there was actually, from 100 people that we downloaded the system and started the automation, so 5 people of those ones were very interested or started give us a buying signal for the company, so you can contact them. And of course, this is an example for B2B, but the same can go with the B2C. So you can just, download as a bulk this kind of lists, and then you have this kind of automation that will run through the whole list, and it will differ that what kind of clicks will the people be clicking there.
And then something that I'm working on with, so Mika, if it's okay for you, I could tell a little bit about the webinar communication in automations. Basically, all the communication that we are having on our webinars is based on our Liana automation. We have an automation flow there. So basically, we do everything from the invitations to webinar recording and follow-up communication based on how recipients behave in like in the webinar, or what links they are clicking as well in the previous letters. But all of you have gotten invitations, a reminder for those who are not registered yet, and then those who have been registered get the reminder a day or two before, and then also this morning that we are telling that we are starting soon, and little info about how to make it a good experience for the webinar. And then after all, of course, the reason we are having webinars is that we like to give a good lead to our customer managers, so they are getting an automatic notification about potential customer based on their behavior and the automation flow. So this is basically that everything that happens around the webinar communication happens with automation. So this is something that if you want to boost your event communication, it's a very good way to do it.
Yeah. And this is another example actually outside of this webinar context, but the same idea that you are having an important meeting with some big deal coming ahead in your company, and you would like to help it in the marketing, that we would be getting that deal signed up. So we can actually do the similar kind of a thing again, that the sales guy can decide that whether I will want to have an automation behind this during the meeting that I will have. So he can select himself whether he would start it. So basically using again kind of that Google form that I will just press fill and send that form. So before, for example, the meeting, there would be a message from SMS that, yeah, nice to be seeing you soon, and hopefully we will have a good meeting. And even during the meeting, we can have this kind of automated messages about the content that we will talking about, so the customer will see it only, or also in online, about how is it working when we would be choosing the product.
We have talked a lot about automations that could be utilized in a few days, but let's take a little sneak peek for a little bit deeper, and let's talk a little about integration marketing automation and CRM system.
Yeah. So of course now we have been, as you said, so talking like this kind of light automation, but this would actually now need one integration behind it. But that's not a problem, but it's just about doing it, the integration. So it needs few months, 1 to 2 months to do this kind of integration if you want to implement in the use. Of course, the integration might be done technically in a very soonish way. But yeah, So what can it basically give us is that we can actually all these kind of examples that we taught about the onboarding automations or etc. So we actually start by the data that has been filled in the pipe drive. So that's like the case, or whatever is the CRM. Is it some other? So I said pipe drive because we are using pipe drive. So and we have a good connection with pipe drive. So yeah, but basically if our sales guys would be selling a product A, so that would start an onboarding message for this person, or if it would go to some stage of leads, let's say that it would be commercial reach, so we could be sending, you know, hello message from our CEO or something like that. So this kind of message can be sent based on the data that is in CRM then, and personalized also by the content. So if we know that there is a sales guy A, so we know that he wants to promote this kind of content also before signing up those deals.
So data give us multiple possibilities to do things. What, for example?
Yeah, so basically we already covered quite many through and has been talking about this, you know.
Let's repeat.
Yeah, exactly. But this is not about emails, even that we were talking quite many of these emails, but they can be SMS messages, these Google Ads push notifications, and also these print campaigns. And also in the future, also I think the webs, you know, what is the WhatsApp, almost forgot WhatsApp. So these kind of, you know, solutions for private messaging, they will also come probably in these automation tools, but it depends, of course, the customers that, and the receivers that how they want to get those messages about marketing and this kind of content. But basically, this is not about just how you could perform in marketing or in sales, but also about the human resources aspect or the project aspect that we can give, you know, this kind of ideas for the customer that, okay, during this project, you should be probably thinking already this point because we are moving next to it. So it's not just solutions for marketing. So we can actually just say automations basically. And when you are implementing this kind of marketing automation tool in your company, so that's also like the question to the other ones, that what you would like to do, that do you actually notice that this some kind of customer communication could be sent throughout the project or development things or whatever.
Yeah, so challenge yourself and the others in the organization.
Yeah.
Time for a poll. We are heading for the final chapter of this webinar at this moment, but do you feel that automations could improve your company's marketing calls and customer success? And I'm launching a poll once again, and let's see what are the answers. Hopefully that if you had a different mind before this webinar, if you have changed that, yes, actually it could help us improve our marketing goals or customer success, then we have done our job, for to speak. And it seems like if we give a little bit more time, but if we are sharing the results, it shows that that's 94% of attendees say that yes, I feel so. So that's great news.
Yeah.
Because that's why we are giving ideas, challenging to think about different ways. And then the question I asked you to think about earlier. So are you planning to invest in marketing automations during this year? We have approximately a few months left for 2021, and then we are moving on to 2022. We basically have not yet processed the year 20, and we're already moving on to 22.
Or not even 20.
Yeah. But are you planning to invest in marketing automations during this year? Yes, probably, and no are the options. So this is interesting to see that how the numbers will be setting. So basically, probably and yes are the most answered options at the moment. And let's give a little bit more time so everyone had time to click. And now I can see that the process has ended and I share the results. So 55% is probably 27 yes. So that's good to hear that companies are thinking about these things at least. Any comments for the results?
Well, this was like it's not the target of this webinar to start the automations for everybody. It's but more of a given an idea of what kind of possibilities there are out. And once you are planning these kind of automations, is that it's not about just marketing, but it can actually help the internal communication and other also these kind of product and development things, like I said. So it's more of a company wide actually this kind of game.
For sure. We have talked a lot about different things today, but if something to remember, take home notes. We have ideas to get started with marketing automations, and then we have possibilities. Well, ideas, welcoming new newsletter subscribers, get to know what they really want to have in their newsletters. We can onboarding new customers, training them on automations. We can send messages to new employees, onboard them to a company. We can use lead magnets, like if some guides or webinar recordings that would start an automation flow. We can do cross-selling campaigns, birthday greetings when we have data about the customer, and then as we speak, we can also do event automations. For example, this webinar communication is based on automation. So there's some ideas. You can take a picture of this slide. So if nothing else to remember, this is a good slide to take a screenshot of the picture, I think.
Yeah.
Possibilities.
Well, the possibilities are basically based on, of course, those what we were talking about, Harri, but it's about the customer journey in total. It's not the new leads, but it's also the existing customers and what kind of information they would need and require during their next buying process or the tool that they have just started to use. So this is basically about engaging the customers more to be using your tool, because you're also teaching them and probably even reducing that churn that might be happening. So that you make sure that if you have for customers that are inactive, so there would be also always alerts about these ones that, hey, for internally that we have persons who are not that are inactive at the moment, but then we can also with automations actively contact them that, hey, we have been seeing that you haven't been using the product yet so far. Did you know these kind of possibilities and these kind of ideas, and of course the information and guidance of this subject. So it's all about the customer journey at the end.
Yeah. And then this webinar has been all about giving you ideas and put you to think about how you could utilize marketing automation. So the question is, did you get any new ideas? And absolutely, and not yet. We keep positive. Not yet could mean that tomorrow you have an idea after you've processed what we have talked about. So this is what we try to do here today, giving you ideas.
Yeah. And as you said, so those might come in a longer time that you get the ideas that it's not about just marketing, but also the other departments inside the company. So have this kind of a discussion there, that what are the possibilities we could actually do there in order to help the communication with customers, but also communication inside the company.
And it's good to see that 85% say that absolutely they get new ideas. So
yeah, so that's
great.
I think that's like
fist pump time.
Yeah.
Or rocks, or what is it called? I don't know. They have so many names. Yeah, but I think that's for that. But as we said in the beginning, we are going to do more and more webinar content in English. So now it's your time to really give your word and vote that what topics would you like to hear about in the future? Is it marketing automation, email marketing, or maybe e-commerce? Because we are ready to rock more. Are you?
Yeah, definitely.
And well, I don't know if it's fair poll after marketing automation webinar, but it seems like marketing automation is getting a clear victory here. So we will take this to our notes and think future topics throughout these answers. So marketing automation and email marketing in the first row, so to speak. So I guess we need to answer that need in the future. But once again, I will stop this screen sharing now, so you will see us in the full screen mode right now. So at this point, thank you all for joining this webinar. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Mika, to joining.
Thank you, Harri, and thank you all in the audience also for listening us.
And let's check shortly, do we have any questions? If you have any questions after this webinar, you can contact us. It's mika.tiainen@lianatech.com. You can contact Mika if you have something to ask.
For example, in LinkedIn, you can contact us, and then of course we will send these messages that you will have these contact forms also if you want to discuss more with us.
So recording is coming up tomorrow to everyone who've been registered, and wait for the next webinar. We are doing the announcements actually next week about next topic. So ears up, so to speak. But that's all, folks, as they say in the one famous cartoon. That's all, folks. Thank you once again. Recording is coming, and thank you, Mika.
Thank you all, and see you in the next webinar.
Yeah, have a nice rest of the week.